Hi, this is Aaron with Lexicata, and this is going to be the first video in a series of videos which we're calling our Getting Started series. So if you watch all the videos in this series, you should have a really solid understanding of how Lexicata works, what it can do, and how to use it. So we definitely encourage you to spend the time going through all these videos to get familiar with the system. So this first video, we're just going to walk through how to sign up and create your account and some of the basic concepts that you're going to need to understand in order to use Lexicata. So when you first go ahead to sign up, you're going to be taken to a page that looks like this. I've already filled it out here. It's pretty self-explanatory. You just put in your first and last name, the email address that you're registered to use, the time zone where your firm's located, and your password. Make sure those match, obviously. And then finally, the subdomain. So the subdomain is essentially the first part of a URL that is associated with your account. So your clients will see this if they're filling out an intake form online or something like that. They will access a URL that looks something like yourlawfirmname.lexicata.com. So you just have to put in a string of text here. Don't use any periods or special characters or anything like that. And keep in mind it will end with .lexicata.com. So just whatever you use will precede that in the URL. Most law firms just use their web address. So exampleLawFirm.com. If that was my website, I would use examplelawfirm.lexicata.com. Pretty straightforward. Finally, obviously, you have to agree to our terms and conditions. And once you do that, just click the Create Account button, and you now have a new Lexicata account. Okay, so when you first create your account, it's going to take you to a page like this where you basically just input some information about your law firm. So keep in mind that this info will be used on your letterhead, so it's going to show up on the top of your intake forms and things like that that you send out to clients. So you can just put in, obviously the name of your firm, your address, your phone number, all that kind of stuff. And then you can also upload your law firm logo. So you can upload your logo and it will show up on the top of the screen, again, with your intake forms and things like that. So everything's custom branded for you. So just choose that file from your computer and that's about it. Just go ahead and click Update Law Firm Info and you're ready to start using Lexicata. Okay, so this is what your dashboard is going to look like. Obviously, there's not going to be any information in here the first time you log in, but I'll walk you through the process of creating a potential client in the system and how that's going to show up here on your pipeline in another video. But for the rest of this video, let's just kind of go through some of the main pages of Lexicata and kind of explain how they work and what they're used for. Obviously, this is going to be your pipeline. So this is basically like an overview of each potential client in the system and what stage they're at in the process. So the default stages we give you are newly added, consult scheduled, pending engagement, but you can customize these, which I'll show you how to do. And the idea is to create sort of a left to right progression of stages or steps in the process during intake. You can also do the same thing on hired. Once the client hires you, you can have different stages of matter management from there. But that's just sort of the pipeline and how that works. Over here, you're also gonna have your reports page, which basically gives you some metrics, conversion rate, value, and where potential clients are coming from, where they're finding you, and that kind of stuff. The other pages here on the left sidebar, you have your agenda. So this basically is going to show you all the things that are currently kind of pending, or it's basically your to-do list in your account. So you have tasks, intake forms that are expected to be turned in or submitted by the client, documents that are out for signature that are due, appointments that are scheduled, as well as emails that are scheduled to go out at some point in the future. So at the top, it's broken down by today's agenda, upcoming agenda, which is tomorrow and on, past due, so anything that had a due date that has since gone past due and is not completed yet will show up there, and then things without a due date will be under no due date. You can also filter this, which is nice. You filter by user or by the type of item. So you can quickly look in here and get a breakdown of what are all my tasks due today or due tomorrow or whatever it may be. All right, next page is going to be your contact page. This is basically where you can manage all the contacts in your account. Whether they're leads, they're clients, or they're other professionals or other relationships you might have. This will display all your contacts here. Again, you can filter that if you want, and you can add new contacts by clicking here on the Add New Contact button. And then you have your matters. Very similar to the contact page, you have all matters here. matters that are in the intake phase, meaning not yet hired, or hired matters here. And again, with the filters here on the right, where you can filter by the status of the matter, the type, the location, and so on. Let's just get one thing clear that's an important distinction to understand, and that is the difference between a contact and a matter. So the contact is obviously sort of the person, the client, or it could be a company as well. You have company contacts in addition to people contacts. The contact will have sort of all their contact information, so you can have their name, email, phone number, any other details about the person or company itself. And that, again, that contact might be a client, it might be a potential client, it might be a past client, it might be a lawyer or another professional relationship. Those are all going to be contacts. The matters are basically the case or the lawsuit or the legal issue, whatever you want to think of it as. But that's basically the page where you're going to have all the information about the legal matter at hand. So whether that's going to be a potential matter or a hired matter or any other kind, you do want to create a matter for each potential client that comes in the system, because all the other features in Lexicata sort of revolve around the matter. You can send out, intake forms or documents for signing. All those things are going to link back to that matter. So you want to make sure to set up a matter for each potential client. Again, you would also have a contact for the potential client, but the contact is just going to be linked to that matter, and you can have multiple matters for the same contact if you'd like. Finally, we have forms and documents. So forms are basically, intake forms or questionnaires, and you can use these to basically collect information from your potential clients or your existing clients or anybody. You can send them out, and they're going to be linked to a matter as well as a contact. And when they get submitted, it'll come in here, and you can update contact information or other matter information with those forms. And then we have the documents. This is basically primarily used with our HelloSign integration. So any documents you need signed by a client would be in here. This can be, authorization forms like a HIPAA authorization, a credit card authorization, or a fee agreement, retainer letter, any kind of document that a client needs to receive and sign back to you. You can do that in our documents section using our HelloSign integration. So that's kind of the general difference between a form and a document. A form is, think of it like a questionnaire, something that somebody can fill out. A document is something that someone needs to sign and get back to you. And then finally, you obviously have your settings here, and you can use this box here to log out, change your password, things like that, or visit our help center. But that's basically the general overview of the account and some of the core pages you're going to see inside Lexicata. So that wraps up this video. In the next video, we're going to start walking through how to start customizing your account in your settings and setting up some of the other things in the system. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.